Hello everyone and welcome back to this course, Introduction to Indian Writing in English. Friends, we were trying to critically analyze a very famous poem of Nassim Ezekiel titled as Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S. As I told you earlier also that the title may seem bizarre to you, the title may seem different to you, like if you compare it with the titles of the poems which you have studied in your life. But this poem has a pinch of irony for the Indian society. This poem has a pinch of satire for the Indian society. And we have looked it in our last class when we talked about poetic craftsmanship of Nassim Ezekiel. Now, in this class, we will deal with a new aspect of the poetry of Nassim Ezekiel. But before that, let us have a look at the lecture outcomes, the outcome, the learning which you are going to achieve after this lecture. Employ the insight about the oeuvre of Indian writers. Friends, as I told you earlier also, that the more and more you will read about Indian writing in English, the more and more you will get through into the works of these writers, you would be able to understand more about this concept of Indian writing in English. Second will be compare the historical context in which these texts were written. Friends, this is the recent way of critically analyzing the texts. If we cannot look at the text from the historical perspective, we would not be able to understand the complete meaning of the text. The third outcome will be illustrate the various writing dimensions of Indian writers. Friends, Indian writing is versatile, different in a way from all other forms of writing, whether it is Australian writing, Caribbean writing, New Zealand writing, or any other form of Commonwealth writing. So, we cannot simply say that Indian writing is similar to Sri Lankan writing or Chinese writing or any other kind of writing. It has its own space, it has its own place into the vast world of literature in which various kind of literatures are included. The thing which we are going to discuss today, a very important aspect of the poem, that aspect is symbolism and imagery. Friends, as all of you know, symbolism means giving symbol to something or creating symbol in, let's say, the literary work. If I ask you, friends, that how the symbol of rose is associated with love, and when this experiment happened, you would not be able to answer. You might say that since time immemorial, when the writers are writing literature, the symbol of rose is associated with, let's say, love. But then, friends, these symbols are created into literature with lot of hard work. So we cannot demean the work of literary figures, literary writers, when they try to use these symbols into their literature or when they try to create new symbols through their literature. The second thing is imagery. Imagery, friends, is a kind of visualization. When you read the poems of Nassim Ezekiel, you will feel that you are on that place which is described in the poem, and you are a part of all the other characters, and you are able to visualize the situation, you are able to visualize that scene. From where that visualization has come to your mind? Friends, from the imagery, the rich use of imagery which the poet has used into this poem, Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S. Nassim Ezekiel's poem, Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S. is a satirical and humorous work, friends. I told you. Now here there are two terms. One is satire and the other one is humor. Generally people think that they are same. Humor has a very limited dimension for the readers, but satire has a very vast aura, has a very vast dimension. And friends, it is very tough to use satire into literature. When you experiment it on your own, when you try to become a creative writer, you would be able to understand that how much difficult it is to use satire into your language. So, this poem has satire also and humor also about how some semi-educated people in India speak English. Friends, this is important. The group of people with whom we are, let's say, able to visualize into this poem, through this poem, they are semi-educated people. Maybe they are government employees in some remote area, in some remote office. Maybe they are working in a very small group. So they do not have much exposure to the world. And we can say that they are semi-educated people of English speaking group in somewhere in some remote part of India. The poem gives the reader a look at Indian culture and the common people within it. Well, friends, when we read this poem, we see that these are the common people of India. These people represent the common Indian culture, the culture with which we interact every day, the culture which is part and parcel of our life. But we have never noticed this culture in so much depth, just like poet was able to, let's say, explain it with the help of this poem. To understand the theme of Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S., a reader must first be familiar with Ezekiel and the dialect in which he wrote the poem. Well, friends, if we want to understand the themes of this poem, on which kind of aspects, which kind of dimensions this poem is written, it is very important to understand the background of the writer, what kind of person Ezekiel is, what kind of dialect he is habituate of using, what kind of expressions he is intentionally using into the poem. All these things we have to make ourselves familiar before understanding the symbolism and imagery used by this poet Nassim Ezekiel. The poem Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S., it is a monologue. Well, friends, you may ask that what is a monologue? Monologue is a kind of poem in which there is only one speaker. None other than him or her is uttering all the sentences. There is one speaker, he is speaking. But then, can we say that there are people who are listening to him also? Yes, of course. When I say that this poem is a dramatic monologue, then there are some characteristics which are visible in the language of this poem. And through those characteristics, we can understand that this poem is a dramatic monologue. There are listeners silently listening and giving reactions to what speaker is saying in these lines. At the beginning of the work, the speaker explains that Miss Pushpa is going to a different country and states that she is a sweet person. Now, that can be an occasion of, let's say, very much joy in a person's life. Suppose you are leaving this country and, let's say, migrating to some other country. There must be some reason behind that. Maybe you have got a better job opportunity. Maybe your family is shifting abroad. Maybe you are going abroad for better job prospects. But in all the ways, you are hopeful for this new long journey and the second innings of your life, which is going to start after you migrate from this country and you move to a different country where you will face a very different culture, where you will face a very different kind of language, different kind of people, and different kind of lifestyle. So this person, this speaker, he says in the beginning of the poem that Miss Pushpa is going to a different country and she is a sweet person. Sweet person, maybe we can, let's say, in a formal way, we can say that she is a kind-hearted person. She is a gentle person. She is a nice person. So this phrase gives us an insight on the character portrait of Miss Pushpa T.S. because throughout the poem, this character Miss Pushpa T.S. is not going to speak anything. But even then, at the end of the poem, we will see that we have understood the complete personality, the complete character portrait of Miss Pushpa T.S. on the basis of the sentences used by this speaker, the sentences which are addressed to Miss Pushpa, and the sentences which are giving a, let's say, proper outline of what kind of person Miss Pushpa is. He explains that the woman comes from a prominent family and gets sidetracked with his own memory. Well, friends, I must say that this person is, let's say, well aware about the background of Miss Pushpa. Maybe he is working with her for, let's say, last couple of years. So he knows very well that this lady belongs to a very prominent family and gets sidetracked with his own memories. Now this person, he sidetracked means he started thinking about some of his past memories. This person becomes nostalgic. This person becomes, let's say, thinking about his relatives and his past. When he went to Surat, which is the place of Miss Pushpa, and he wanted to talk about this place Surat, suggesting that Surat is a very beautiful place with very kind-hearted and gentle people. So, well, as all of you know, friends, that when we talk about the family of a person, and if we say that a person is belonging to a prominent family, we want to say that the person also have very high kind of morals, very good characteristics into his behavior. So prominent family is associated with high morals and very good attitude, and the person's personality belong to a very elite kind of behavior. After digressing, the speaker states the Miss Pushpa is a popular person who is kind and always willing to help others. Well, we can understand it when we see that Miss Pushpa belonged to a prominent family. We see that after all kind of background description, this person who is using the monologue, he says that Miss Pushpa is a popular person. Now, he do not want to say that she is popular in a wrong sense, but she is popular in a good sense, popular in a way that she is a gentle lady, kind-hearted lady, and she is helpful to everyone in their, let's say, in their office. So she is a popular person who is kind and always willing to help others. So she is very helpful, and which is why she is popular. People want to talk to her because they think that they will get a solution of their problem when they go to Miss Pushpa. At the end of the poem, the speaker asks the others at the party to give their own speeches about the party's honoree. Who is the honoree? Miss Pushpa is the honoree. Why? Because these people are honoring her. This party is thrown to honor this lady Miss Pushpa, who is leaving their office unfortunately, and she is moving abroad. She is migrating from the country and going somewhere out. So this speaker is a very open-hearted person. He also asks other people in the party to give speech in the, let's say, honor of Miss Pushpa. But unfortunately, the poem has its own limitations. The poem is written in very limited number of lines. So we were not able to hear what others has to say about Miss Pushpa. And maybe this is the intention of the poet. Poet wished to complete this poem only on the speech of one person, because poet want to say that all the people are going to give the speech in the same manner. They are, let's say, the habituate of speaking similar kind of Babu Angrezi, and which is why all have the similar kind of things to say, and there is no worth of giving weightage to the other people's speech about Pushpa in the office, in that scenario. Let us look at the line-by-line description to get better insight on imagery and symbolism into the poem. Now from the next slide, we will look at the line by line analysis of the poem. We will read the poem line by line and try to understand that how different imagery, how different symbolism is used by the poet in the lines. This is the text of the poem. And now see, a very common, let's say, phrase with which we begin our speech whenever we are giving speech at any place. We generally say, friends, our dear sister is departing for foreign in 2-3 days and we are meeting today to wish her bon voyage. Well, friends, I must say that this person also is very friendly and there is a very healthy atmosphere in the office, which is why he is calling everyone friends. And then he says, our dear sister. Now, you might think that sister is a very common word which we generally use in the Indian society for ladies, for our colleagues, for the females who are associated with us. But well, friends, this is not a common phrase for the native speakers. The native speaker might feel offended, a native, let's say a British female, if you are calling her sister, she might ask you that, am I your sister? Am I associated to you in any way? Am I your blood relative? But such kind of questions are not asked in the Indian society, because in India we are habituate of making relationships with the people whom we are known to. Maybe sister, maybe brother, or maybe with any other kind of phrase we use to, let's say, speak to some other person. And all these phrases suggest that we want to make ourselves familiar with that person. So here the speaker says, friends, our dear sister is departing for foreign in 2-3 days. Now he do not say abroad, he says foreign. So foreign is again a very different kind of unsuitable kind of phrase. So he uses foreign, suggesting that, let's say, she is going somewhere abroad and we are meeting today to wish her bon voyage. So all the people have gathered here to give a bon voyage. Now what is a bon voyage? At the end the meaning is written. It is used to express farewell and good wishes to a departing traveler. A traveler who is going on a voyage, and here the people are there to, let's say, see off this person. You are all knowing, friends, what sweetness is in Miss Pushpa. I don't mean only external sweetness, but internal sweetness. Now these phrases might feel, let's say, bizarre to you, difficult to you to understand, but this is how the Babu Angrezi is spoken. He is trying to say that Miss Pushpa is not only, let's say, kind from inside, but she is kind from her external behavior as well. Miss Pushpa is smiling and smiling even for no reason, but simply because she is feeling. Well, you might feel that she is a mad person, but she is smiling, suggesting that she is very happy on this occasion. And she is very happy with the behavior of everyone who is standing here. Miss Pushpa is coming from very high family, means a prominent family. Her father was renowned advocate in Bulsar or Surat. Now such kind of regional phrases are very important to give a regional look to a poem. I am not remembering now which place. Now exactly the place is unknown to the speaker. Surat, yes. Once only I stayed in Surat with family members of my uncle's very old friend. His wife was cooking nicely. That was long time ago. Now, this person is using lot of regional images. He is saying that the wife used to cook the food in the family and the males are there to work, let's say, somewhere out. So there are set roles in the Indian society for females and males. Females has to work in the household, males has to work in the outer areas. So such kind of, let's say, personal experiences of Surat are shared by this person. Coming back to Miss Pushpa, she is most popular lady with men also and ladies also. Now he separately uses this phrase, maybe Miss Pushpa feel offended. How can she be popular in men? Does she have any sensual kind of image into the office? But this is not the intention of the speaker. He want to say that for both men and ladies, Miss Pushpa was very helpful. Whenever I asked her to do anything, she was saying, just now only I will do it. So the phrase is inappropriate grammatically, but poet means to say that she is always willing at that very moment to help the person. She do not delay any work. That is showing good spirit. I am always appreciating the good spirit. Pushpa Miss is never saying no. Never saying no, although the sentence is inappropriate, but the speaker has to say that Miss Pushpa is never saying, let's say, no to any work. She is always helpful to anyone who comes to her. Whatever I or anybody is asking, she is always saying yes, and today she is going to improve her prospect, and we are wishing her bon voyage. So he says, after talking about her cooperative behavior, he says that all of us wish her good luck for her future. Now I ask other speakers to speak, and afterwards Miss Pushpa will do summing up. So the ending phase suggests that he is, let's say, he is making Pushpa bound to speak after all the speakers speak. But there is no, let's say, boundness into this phrase. He is just trying to say that all of us want to listen what Miss Pushpa has to say after all the speeches are complete. So, after the summing up of everything, Miss Pushpa will speak and will talk about all these, just like giving a feedback of what she feels about her working in this office and about the people, the colleagues with whom she has worked. So friends, when we read this poem line by line, we understood that the poetry which this person, Nassim Ezekiel, want to, let's say, place in front of us. This poetry is suggesting the Indianness into different kind of situations. The speeches which we give, we generally think that we are speaking in the standard English, elite English or formal English. But the way the poem is written, this cannot be considered as grammatically, syntactically or semantically appropriate phrases. And the poet has intentionally used them to create an Indianness in the language, in the structure of this poem. And the outside readers, the Europeans, when they will read this poem, they will understand that, okay, this is how the Indians used to speak. This is what the Babu Angrezi is, and how they used to speak in the remote areas of India. Maybe they are semi-educated, maybe they are not well educated, but they think they are proud to speak English, and which is why they generally prefer speaking in English language in such, let's say, occasions of celebration, seeing of their, let's say, their colleague and wishing, let's say, best of the future to their colleague. So friends, with this we have understood the concept of imagery and symbolism into this poem Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S. So this is all for today. So thank you for listening, and we will meet in the next lecture with a new topic related to this very beautifully written poem Goodbye Party for Miss Pushpa T.S.